Welcome to Christian Statesman. This is episode 68. I'm your host, Zach Wagner, and today we're going to talk about 3 difficult outcomes. We've seen mounting evidence in the last few weeks that the Biden presidency is little more than a show. It is a made-for-TV event that leaves anyone who sees the fraud wondering just what or who is in charge of the direction of our government. Where are executive policy decisions being made? And if Biden is indeed not in the White House or at the helm of the executive branch, what is the ultimate agenda and what outcomes can we expect? One thing is certain, if these clues are accurate, such a monumental lie cannot be sustained indefinitely. Inevitably, we face the possibility of 3 unsavory outcomes. The first outcome is a continued sustainment of the current foe administration. Undoubtedly, at some point in the near future, Biden will be put aside and Harris will attempt to take over the helm. The most probable outcome from any continuation of this charade is likely to be the preparation of America to join the rest of the world in the Great Reset as touted by Justin Trudeau, Al Gore, Klaus Schwab, and the other tidy globalists. This would likely involve a typical Cloward Piven final overwhelming of our systems and a likely collapse through derivative debt calls or some other lever of the national and international banking system. The evisceration of our nation's wealth, at least through individual accounts disappearing under the Dodd-Frank bail-in mandates, would force the average citizenry to relinquish their personal property and any remaining rights and to subscribe to International Monetary Fund debt relief and a universal basic income. In this outcome, the global enslavement system will be implemented, and the Fabian socialist culling of producers and non-producers will begin on an epic scale. The second option is a military intervention, not unlike the recent counter-coup in Myanmar. This outcome is dependent on a coordinated takedown of all corrupt systems and a domestic reset under a new election after the arrest of numerous deep state traitors. This also likely involves a disassembly of the Federal Reserve, central banking system, and other vehicles that have been siphoning off America's wealth. This is, of course, a dicey proposition, as the general American public are thoroughly misinformed and unprepared for the necessary outcomes this scenario would entail. Those who believe we have a legitimate administration and that their elected officials are actually representing them, a majority of the voter base on either the right or left, would be caught completely by surprise. The numerous Soros-funded quasi-Marxist organizations such as Antifa would take to the streets and our cities would burn. This scenario is said to be under consideration by insiders. Just how plausible it is remains to be seen. It is arguable that such a scenario would create incredible disruption and chaos until the vessel could be cleansed, as it were. But the question remains, is this outcome better or worse than allowing an administration controlled by anti-American powers to slowly and quietly engineer a takedown of the country? As disruptive as it might be, one could argue this is a necessary undertaking if America as we once knew it is to survive. The third outcome would likely result if the second outcome fails to emerge and the first outcome continues to deepen and become worse. That outcome would be an organized patriot uprising led by organizations who claim to be defenders of the Constitution, such as the Oath Keepers. This scenario is difficult because without the backing of a constitutionally sympathetic military, the left-wing press would label anyone seeking to take action against the illegitimate regime and preserve some semblance of a constitutional republic as terrorists, insurgents, or white supremacists. This narrative has already been sown in the mainstream media to describe anyone who supports Trump or thinks in any whit the election was compromised. This is notable gamesmanship on the part of the left already. This outcome would obviously be the most costly and disruptive. It would be very difficult to distinguish the good guys, the true patriots, from the opportunists and deep state infiltrators. Such mayhem would quickly devolve into anarchy, and we would see a collapse of economic activity combined with tribalism based on cities, counties, and states. Without a central authority to coordinate such a response, it is doubtful little would be changed and much would be lost. The casualty rate of such events would be catastrophic. Worst of all, This would open the doors to foreign actors to consider taking advantage of our division with action and intervention upon our own soil. The unfortunate fact is, none of these scenarios are pleasant to contemplate. But this is where we are, standing at a crossroads in history. Things as they are currently configured are certainly not sustainable. Which outcome do you believe we will see? The options are difficult, and they prescribe a level of alertness and preparation for the individual citizen far beyond what we would consider normal in the past. So where do you stand? Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, tell your friends, and as always, have a blessed day.